NDTV Convergence is the digital arm of NDTV Group, which is a old school media company. I'm also part of the strategy for NDTV Group. I'm the senior vice president. There's a huge overlap and it shift in consumption of media that is happening. So I play a small part in being part of the strategy group because television viewing is now shifting to digital. I'm Kawaljit. I am the CTO for NDTV Convergence. So the decision had come to buy new hardware. CapEx, is much more expensive than calculating quarter by quarter or a yearly OpEx cost. So because we had come to a point where we needed to buy new hardware, it was a good time to experiment with what was new at that point. I think AWS launched in 2008. So we were probably one of the first customers out of India, and we tried out the cloud because there was time to buy new hardware. A CapEx requirement was there, and we tried it out, launching the service on cloud for the first time. And basics were that it had to be at least as good as what we were doing on a data center, if not better, for us to actually make a shift, because it not only required us a lot of experimentation, it required our technical folks like the developers and the infrastructure team to actually evaluate a system that they had never seen in their career. So it was an exhaustive thing. We wanted to make sure that it is at least as good as what we were doing on data center. And of course, there were many advantages that we saw, that the costs were low, we could try out. If it didn't work out, it was easy for us to shut down those instances that we had started using, and we would have not found any loss in trying it that way. So our first requirement was that it had to match what we were doing on the data center, and that's how our first evaluation started. AWS is one of the first cloud-based services out there. So it was a new thing for us. Obviously it was backed by Amazon, which itself is like a huge e-commerce site. I think even then it was the biggest e-commerce site, and in our mind, if there was one company who could pull it off, it was Amazon. So it made natural sense not to in any way not trust it that they won't know what they were doing. But of course for us it was a new thing because we had never run any service out of a cloud-based system. Most of our products are run out of AWS now. So starting from our flagship site ndtv.com, so that's hosted on AWS. There are certain very specific applications which are built, like in our application, mobile application, there's a radio feature where you can hear NDTV's channels, and this is audio only. Those are run out of AWS. And of course, if you go technical, the database is stored there. We use the DNS services of AWS, auto scaling, RDS, and we are trying out the new features which are coming out, including Lambda, which is something which was announced recently. So we are trying that out. So pretty much the whole suite. We have been customers since 2009, and the only reason we are still with AWS and cloud is because we have been happy with what we have been using. Unlike other companies, we have seen massive price cuts in the same application, which is unheard of. The vendor offering price cuts by default. So the costs has been down, new technical services have been launched, new regions which are closer to India have come up, which makes our lives easier. And of course, the support that we get from AWS has made us happy customers.